A good start if I actually put myself into the video. Good morning and welcome back to the West Ham Network. My name's Anton. Today I'm bringing you the daily nice and early. Today, usually it's a 12:30 slot. The sun is shining where we are. The sun is shining probably where you are, but the sun certainly isn't shining on top of West Ham today. God, it's really dark the way it is, isn't it? The angles in this room are just all a bit mental. But yeah, the sun potentially isn't shining on West Ham today with the news that we all didn't want to hear, which is we are, and let me just get this right as well, they're unconfirmed reports. So I want people to understand that. We try and give you, very detailed information when we do these shows, but these are unconfirmed reports. Several reports are suggesting that Issa Diop is going to be out for the season. So obviously that would leave West Ham with one recognised first-team centre-half in Craig Dawson. These are unconfirmed reports. You always know that when we do these stories, we like to bring them to you and actually tell you once the club have announced them. However, journalists are picking the story up from all angles, and obviously they're all digging into, they're their ITKs and bringing out this story to us this morning. Now, I think it broke last night. I think several reporters were bringing it out. And it's not great news for West Ham, really, is it? But what does that mean for us? So we've got Ogbonna out for the season, although we are seeing him potentially ahead of schedule and on his way back. So I don't know how soon he can be back, but I don't think he'll be there for the next 4 or 5 games collectively between that and Europa League. We've got Zuma, who's picked up an injury that we believe is going to be out for the season. So unless they can come back and come ahead of schedule, then we're hearing the news about Diop, and that leaves us with one recognised first-team centre-half. I've seen on social media people going, this is ridiculous. Why are we not bringing any more recruits over the winter, etc.? But in this position, we've been strong. We've, I can't think to myself many teams that have had to pick up 3 massive injuries in one position when, most teams work with 4 centre halves, but we've just been extremely unlucky in that position this season. But then maybe again, you could go by the aging, the age of our defenders. And we always have known that Moyes has been interested in bringing in players in that position moving forward, and he definitely will need to now, because you don't know the extent of the injury and how good or will Ogbonna return to his best when he comes back from that long-term injury. Will Zuma, and he should return to his best, but how serious that injury is. And of course, with this news today regarding Diop, it's not really great. But I'll jump into the chat, and then I'll get started on today's show as well. And like I said, it's usually a morning show, but an afternoon show. But I decided to bring it to you this morning because it felt relevant. Always happens, absolutely. Kenny, hope you're well. Saw a video of Carlos Tevez at London Stadium. Could this be a sign? Also looking forward to see if we do sign players in the summer. If so, who would you like? Yeah, what an amazing sight to see Tevez back at West Ham. Obviously, it wasn't Upton Park; it was London Stadium. But it was nice to see. He is officially unattached. He hasn't officially announced his retirement, but I don't see him coming back to West Ham. And I heard rumours about some potential coaching capacity somewhere. I don't know where. Or I have seen a connection to Spurs, etc. as well. Happy, hope you're well. Have missed you all lately. Good to see you. Kenny, I heard on the grapevine that he's looking at coaching role at Spurs. There you go. Although going to Spurs, surely he'll be advised away from that. Good morning, everyone. Buffalo Snowy, and that is Father Snowman. Hope you're well. He's still bad, mate. Alese has his chance to shine. First game, Chelsea. Second game, Frankfurt. Talk about throwing in at the deep end for any youngster. All I can say is we like to do things the hard way. It's the West Ham way. I'll tell you what, then I'll go straight into this show and I'll give you my rendition of how I see it. And like I said, reports are circulating around the world media that Issa Diop may be out for the rest of the season with an Achilles injury. We are, of course, waiting for the official news coming from the club, but we are led to believe Diop picked up the knock that left him limping at the end of the draw against Burnley. And if this is true, and the extent of the injury leads to Diop missing the rest of the season, this would be a huge blow to West Ham. This would be our 3rd centre-back injury, only leaving us 1 first-teamer, as I've said, in Craig Dawson, and even he has been playing through the pain barrier. That's what people are failing to remember. He has been playing through pain barrier. I believe he's been getting injections, etc., just to get him through. But not having Diop for the rest of the season really does pile the pressure onto Moyes. Some positive news is, like I've mentioned, Ogbonna maybe make a game before the end of the season, but that won't help us now if Diop is injured. So what happens? Declan Rice, people are saying, drops back into the centre-back position. 2 seasons ago, maybe. Last season, possibility. But this season is an absolute no-go. It's debatable to say that Rice is even could be one of our best, if not the best centre-half at the club. But the prospect of losing him in the midfield would not be worth thinking. It'd be a ridiculous decision, to be honest, because we've become so reliant on him and the partnership that he's gained alongside Tommy Soucek. Listen, I'll put it out there again. Declan Rice is a fantastic footballer, all-round footballer. His starting position was centre-back, and he has played centre-back for West Ham before. But he has grown arms and legs in his position, and that is a position he needs to stay in for West Ham, covering that midfield. No ifs or buts about it. He progresses from the front, from that midfield, and he defends with his life. So there are other options there. Although if Declan Rice did drop back, is there a mindset that Mark Noble steps in and has his last hurrah to the end of the season? I don't know how fans would take that, but you never know. It could be fitting time for Mark Noble to step in and play out the last part of the season. 5 more or 6 more Premier League games to go. Mark Noble comes into the midfield and plays alongside Tommy Soucek as Declan Rice covers back there in defence. The thing I'm trying to say is, and I'll go through the rest of the show here in a minute, the thing I'm trying to say is, even though this is really not a great thing for West Ham, I do think there are options there. But we will have to obviously see. So where do we go from there? If it's not Declan Rice, where do we go? Well, I'll tell you where. I'll tell you exactly where. Our academy. Well, even before we go there, we can already look at players that have transferred through from the academy. Ben Johnson, he's very versatile. He plays currently full-back in the right-back position, but he has dropped into the left-back position. We do know that he can play centre-half, so he could be an option. And if Soufal is fit and we've got Creswell fit, then we have got a back four. Not ideal, but we do know Ben Johnson is a good defender and can slot into the centre-half position, so that also could be an option. But I'll tell you where else we could go, and that is into our academy. We have 2 absolute ballers, in my opinion, in that academy. No ifs or buts about it. One, in my opinion, is ready to rock and roll now, and the other one is close to making the step up. 2 academy prospects that could really save West Ham a lot of money in the coming months. This isn't one of those, we must use our young players because it's the right thing to do, because it's the academy and they have to make the step up and etc. But these guys really do have the ability to step up, in my opinion. Over the years, we have produced a phenomenal amount of talent coming out of our academy. Talent that has gone on to win many trophies through their careers. And for me, the future isn't just bright, it is claret and blue. But in order for them to make the step up, although a gradual process would take place, sit on the bench, be involved in match day squads, but nobody would have predicted, with 5 Premier League games to go and 2-legged Europa League semi-finals to contend with, we would be down to the bare bones and only have 1 fit player in the central of defence. So Moyes has said time and time again about young players mixed with experience, and it looks like his hand may be forced. Alese and Jamal Baptiste are literally ready to go when called upon. And let me bring an image up just so people can be reminded of who we're talking about here. So both have excelled at youth level. Alese, who had loan spells at Accrington Stanley, that's not the picture there, there it is there, and Cambridge United, really shined as a player. And I do keep an eye on our young academy players because I've heard a lot of good things about Alese, but several seasons ago, he played a friendly game for West Ham against Ipswich Town, and I know it's a friendly. I get it, a pre-season friendly, but I saw enough. He can collect the ball, visualize a pass, short and at distance, good football awareness, good football and brain. He can read the game really well. He's a very intelligent footballer, and on some occasions, he dominates in defence. I mean, this guy can pick a pass from anywhere on the park, pinging balls here, there, and everywhere. He is a phenomenal player, left-footed centre-back as well, complete left-back if needed. Saw him at St Andrews, training in the pre-season tour, and he played at left-back position, but also can play in his prominent position as a centre-half. He is the current captain of the under-23s. He bombs forward, but can get back. He is a very good reader of the game. No ifs or buts about it. Alese, for me, at his age, is ready to make the step up. Thrown in at the deep end is always going to be hard for any kind of player, especially a young player, but he has had some games in the first team. But let me go about and explain to you, about Alese. He's been at the club since joining us from the under-8s. Let's see as many images as I've got here. That's the wrong one. Let me put this one up here. And this is not him when he's an 8-year-old, obviously. He became a full-time academy of football scholar in the summer of 2017, by which time he had already made his under-18 Premier League debut on the same year. He played 8 times in total in the 2016-17 season, and while still a schoolboy, before making a further 4 under-18 Premier League South appearances that following season. The 17-18 campaign saw Alese debut in the Premier League 2 Division 1 in a goalless draw with Everton, and he kept clean sheets in each of his first 3 team starts. He put pen to paper on his first professional contract with West Ham in July of 2018 and won the Dylan Tambides Award, having performed to a high standard in his 24 appearances, under 18, under 21 and under 23 levels in 2018 and 2019 season. He subsequently started at Old Trafford for the under 23s in a 2-2 draw against Man United in 2019, before spending the remainder of the season on loan at League One side Accrington Stanley, making 15 appearances in all competitions. At international level, he was capped 3 times, under 16 level, wearing the captain's armband, before graduating for England's under 17 squad in February 2018, moving into under 18s in September 18, to the under 19s in September 2019, and then to the under 20s in October 2020. He helped England reach the semi-finals of the 2018 UEFA European under 17 Championship finals, where they were edged out 6-5 by Holland in a penalty shootout, and he featured 3 times in that tournament, also starting the group stage defeat by Switzerland and quarter-final over Norway. And it's no surprise, therefore, that he has made such a towering full West Ham debut against Hull, as you can see from the picture. Playing all 90 minutes, he completed 2 tackles, 2 clearances and 3 interceptions, while also winning 3 out of the 4 ground duels against the League One side on the way to 5-1 victory. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that for the young players, Alese and Baptiste, etc., need to go out on loan for them to make the step up. But sometimes not every single player has to go out on loan to make the step up, and I'm not so sure Alese would have to. He has done a couple of loan spells, but I think he is ready to go just now as well. He was one of the number of academy players and football prospects to travel with West Ham on a pre-season tour at St Andrews in July of 2021, and I was very fortunate enough to be there during that session and watch him. And he played the pre-season fixtures against Dundee and Northampton Town as well, and stood up to the occasion, no problem at all. After captaining the under-23s in the top of the Premier League Division 1 table and 2 victories out of 3 in EFL Trophy group stage, the centre-back was rewarded with his second senior start in his European debut in the 1-0 UEFA Europa League Group H defeat by Dinamo Zagreb at London Stadium on the 9th of December 2021. And we all remember that day, because it was the day where we made loads of players get the debut. It was nice to watch. We did get beat, but it was great to see all the young players give a good account of themselves on the big stage as well. And now he may finally be starting for West Ham for the remainder of the season, but that is yet to be seen. But next up on the plate for the academy is another youngster, and that's Jamal Baptiste, another fantastic prospect from our academy, a versatile defender, tall, strong, and comfortable in possession. This lad is another who is ready when and if he gets called upon. He broke into the under-18 squad on a regular basis at the start of the 2018-19 season, while he was still a schoolboy. Made his full debut for the under-18s Premier League South win at Norwich City in 2018. By the season's end, he had started 14 times. His outstanding progress continued in the 1920 season as he made his debut for the under-23s in a Premier League International Cup win over Valencia B team on September 2019, playing the full 90 minutes. With the occasion arriving 2 months short of his 16th birthday, Baptiste became the second youngest West Ham under-23 player in history, only behind under-18s teammate Jayden Fevrier and ahead of Mark Noble. England under-17 debut was swift to follow and he was 15 years old. Baptiste joined 16-year-old teammate Diallo in making his international bout against Germany under-17s in October 2019. He ended the 1920 campaign with 10 appearances, 40 under-23s to his name. Baptiste could be seen training alongside the first team of the Tour of Scotland, like we've seen, and like I got to see. He went on to make his first West Ham or maiden appearance in the 5-1 preseason win over Wycombe Wanderers. I never got a chance to watch that game, but I looked back to see his performance, and he was subsequently called up to the England under-18s for the first time in October 2020. In the 2021 season, Baptiste became a regular for the under-23s whilst only 17 years of age, making 23 appearances in all competitions, including 3 in the Papa John's Trophy against senior opposition. In January 21, Baptiste made his West Ham senior debut, coming off the bench to replace Ryan Fredericks with 7 minutes remaining of the 4-0 FA Cup fourth round win over Doncaster Rovers. And in the summer of 2021, he again once travelled with the West Ham squad to St Andrews. He scored his first senior goal in the pre-season tour with a side-footed volley against Dundee. He is still a teenager. People kind of compare him to Virgil van Dijk. And he kind of maybe models his game on that. He's a very good tackler, another good reader of the game. And he was named on the bench for West Ham's opening 3 Premier League matches for this current season, while starting regularly for the under-23s, as the development side stormed to the top of that league and currently are battling out for honours in that position as well. After making 5 friendly appearances for England under-20s and 1 for the UEFA European Championship qualifying appearance for England's under-19s, Baptiste made his second first-team appearance and European debut for West Ham in the 1-0 defeat to Dinamo Zagreb alongside AJ Alese. So what do you think? West Ham have options. It's not ideal. It's not ideal that the first-team players, Anissa Diop and Zuma and Ogbonna, could potentially be out for the season. But we do have options there. We know Declan Rice can play at centre-back, but Moyes is going to be reluctant to move him out of the central of midfield. And that could be, another option for West Ham could be to switch to the 4-2 from the 4-2-3-1 that we do play to a back 3. That's what we're set. We've mentioned before, and that's where you could maybe bring in Creswell into the left-back position, Johnson into from the right-back position, and play 2 fullbacks on either side as well. But for me, if there's an option, it could be looking at Alese. I think Alese is ready to rock and roll and make a progression. But as Happy Amaret has said, Chelsea next, Frankfurt after that, in a European semi-final, what happens? Moyes always errs on the side of caution, so I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Ben Johnson slip into that role, depending on how serious this injury is to Diop, but we will see. Let me jump into the chat and see what everyone else is saying. It will be Dawson next. No, it won't be. We have to remain positive. Come on. Where are we? All I've heard, he is training on his own on the grass. Dawson, the leader now. Any news on Augie yet? Well, we do know he is back in training as well. Mandy G, Moyes won't rest anyone, so it'd be no surprise to see the under-23s team lead out the final of Europa. Could just be as simple as putting Johnson alongside Dawson and playing Cressy and Sofal, I guess, or a youngster stepping in. Absolutely, and I think that's where we may err on the side of caution. No, it won't be. No, don't tempt fate. You know it. Our centre-backs are cursed. Thank you. Good to see you. And Mandy G, good to see you as well. Hope you did have a nice cup of tea in your West Ham Network cup. Peter Jones is in the house. Good to see you too. Good morning. TDYN Rescue. Cannot believe our luck gutted. Chris Biggs, Montana. What Moyes still not give the youngsters a chance? Morning to everyone from Sharky. Just waiting for the moans that we should have got more centre backs in the window. 4 should have been plenty. Yep. Johnson would get bullied at centre back. Shocking luck from Jordan. Moyes has to give the youngsters a chance now. Could be a blessing in disguise. The West Ham way. Mandy's saying play Cres with Dawson. But Chris Biggs, Montana. Watch Moyes still not give them the 23s a chance still. Masuaku will play. You will see. Masuaku has been demoted to the under-16s. My word. David Martin better give his old man a call. Dan has to be Alese. Whatever Moyes decides to do regarding our centre-back demise, he has my backing 100%. He does as well. Alese or Baptiste from Happy Amaret, Lee Vassallo. Hi, everyone. It's not all doom and gloom. We are still massive. We are. Jordan Alese will do a better job than Krez at centre-back. Issa knocked his ankle towards the end, but played on through the pain. Great plan, that. Yep. I thought it was his knee that was hurting at the end of the Burnley game. Gaza, good to see you, mate. Alessi against Frankfurt. Well, that's a huge jump from the under-23s. It is. It is. And the thing is, though, we have to, sometimes you always hear that we should never give these young players a shot straight on. They always have to go out on loan. I don't agree with that. I really don't. I think if a player's ready to rock and roll, they don't have to go out on loan and test out their situation. I think Alessi's had enough loan spells and been in and around the matchday squad to know what the situation is. Alese played well against Dinamo Zagreb when he played in Europa League game. He played well against Hull when he made his debut for West Ham in the League Cup, it was as well. So I do think he is one player that is ready to go. Typical into it from Gaza. Movies, he just keeps me keeping a close eye on the youngster players when they're ready. In Moyes we trust. Big Dawson will sort out whoever his partners. Man's a leader, warrior, and a legend. He is, and he's been playing through the pain barrier himself. Getting regular injections, etc. But you're right, and it's a good way of describing him: a leader, warrior, and a legend. I'm sure whoever goes into that position is going to give 100%. Oh, absolutely, Hammer. Really bad luck for us. Problem after problem. Don't see us winning Europa without a centre back. I have the faith, Hammer, because it's now everything's on the table there. Everything's laid bare. We all know where we're at. Harley, Krul, we are forced to play Krul at centre-back. Can't see it happening, mate. Cannot see it happening. Play Rice at centre-back or Krul. I don't see it happening. I mean, the only option you've got there, if you do drop Rice back into centre-half, is Mark Noble comes in and performs in the centre of midfield. But I don't know if Moyes will do it because he's not had a run of consistent games for West Ham this season, obviously in his last season as a footballer. Put Souček alongside Dawson. 4-5-1, tight counter football. It's our only way through now. Gaza, good morning. Hope you're well. Peter Jones. Krul is a mystery to me. He never gets any game time. No, DJ Russie B. Put the phone down. Stop typing. Stop saying Alex Krul in defence. I'm only messing. I can't see it. I really can't see it. Play Alese against Chelsea and then decide if he's good enough to step up. Lucky, really, that if it was not in the position on the pitch. Yes, but I wouldn't judge the player. I think he's already played enough. So I think if you're going to play Alese, you're playing him on the basis that you're going to get a run of games. If I'm David Moyes and I've decided that I'm going to bring either Ben Johnson, Alese, or Baptiste, and I think if it's going to be one, it's going to be potentially Alese coming up from the youth system, then you're saying to him, do you know what, mate? This is your opportunity to come and take your shot. This is your opportunity to save West Ham millions, because I'm telling you now, I believe he could be there. And if he does come in and perform over the last 5 or 6 games of the season, then we don't need to go into the market as much as what we think. And we're sitting on something ready to rock and roll. I am there. I'm making a big, bold prediction, but Alessi's the next big thing to come through for West Ham. We could always use Soufal, Dawson, and Krez as a back three with 2 wing backs. You've got Soufal, Dawson, and Krez. You've got Ben Johnson as well. But if you do that, what does that mean? Does that mean Masuaku comes in the left wing back, or do you play Fornals at the left wing back? What do you do on the right hand side as well? Davis saying all hands on deck, etc. Some players are likely to play out of position. 100% backing needed now from the fans. Players will need it. 100% nail on the head, Dave. I'd rather see the youngsters than Krul, no offense. And I think that's a shame because we just haven't saw enough of Krul this season. Moyes happy. It will be Johnson, Kreslev, and Soufal on the right. We have to utilize our academy. It's in our blood. Baptiste should make the bench in this if this is the case. Krezi can play centre back too. It's not all over, guys. Come on, we've still got this in our sights. Absolutely, he can. You can drop in there. This is where Moyes earns his money. Give Alessi and Baptiste half each of the Chelsea game and let's see what they can do. Moyes won't do that though, Happy. You know that yourself. I've heard Repka has kept his fitness up and has just been seen at KFC in Stratford. There you go. Absolutely. Thomas Repka, Soufal and Souček and Dawson in that team. I mean, we have no players left because they'll all be sent off. Johnson played well left back against Lyon, so that's a strong possibility. Happy, absolutely. Is Augie training? Yes, he is. Don't forget he was also at Canary Wharf. So many comments. I love to see this. I think he's got all the skill to step up, but mentally it would be very tough. Lack of confidence will be a huge factor, in my opinion. Mandy J saying we have a centre-back crisis and a striker that can't score, but we're in the semi-final of Europa League. How mad is that? It is crazy. It is crazy. But that shows you, if anything, Mandy, what this team are capable of doing. because there is so much unity and so much quality within the players that we trust, and they connect so well together. It's crazy. Hello, Russie B. Very mad. Mandy Clark and Blue runs in our blood. It's crazy. Russ in the house. There you go. You're all talking to each other. Hopefully, Ogbonna will be back for the last few weeks. We'll have to wait and see. Dawson is the last man standing. As we know, great minds think alike. Mark Ladd, if something is easy, it's worth it isn't worth doing. Apparently, we're looking at the Burnley keeper. We'll keep an eye out on the Hammers headlines later on, where I will be talking about that. That comes live at 5 o'clock. 4 centre backs and 3 are injured. Couldn't make it up. No, you couldn't. Wow, he looks 12 there. Yeah, well, that was because he probably was 12. That was me just showing you one of his earlier pictures. Lee Vassallo, hit the like button, please. Thank you very much. Can't put him in against a tall German side. Laugh out loud. Height means now. Look at Zini. Word prediction. Hammer, it does my head in. Premonition. We are going to win the Europa League. Not because it's easy, it's because we are massive. Love that. Love that. Looks like I need to score a few now. Absolutely. Cheers, mate. Thanks for joining us. Happy Amaret. Alessia or Baptiste can have a chance now. Let's encourage them massively and get them first teams games. Absolutely. Mark Field, great credentials here for these lads, and I feel we may need to do it, although it makes me nervous. It's not official. No, are we assuming Diop was out for the season? No, we're bringing to you. We have said, gave you the clarification at the start. This unconfirmed reports that we are waiting to hear coming out of the club. So we're waiting to hear the official confirmation coming out of the club. But usually when the story breaks, and a lot of the sources it has, it usually 9 times out of 10 comes out with some form of truth. He hasn't had a scan yet. There could be an Achilles tendon problem. We don't know how serious it is, but we're predicting if it is serious, how many games he'll miss if he misses the end of the season, because we are a month away from the end of the season. And it's, what a season it's been. And to think that our season's coming to an end is ridiculous, and we won't have football for several months as well. Try one of them against Chelsea, Mandy's saying. It could be worse. I'm not going to tempt fate by saying how, but it's to do with goalkeepers. Love the research, Anton, on the youngsters. Cheers, Dan. He said Diop is out for the rest of the season. Defender took a knock in his ankle towards the end of the draw, but played through the pain. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm confident it's true. However, I don't think it's till the end of the season. A couple of weeks. Let's hope it is. Porge is saying, how do these alternative defences match up to Frankfurt's 11? Will Zuma Augie be back before the European games? Highly doubt it. Zuma is out for the season, but we think he's out for the season. It's just, but these players sometimes make a quicker recovery, but we are led to believe that these are out for the season as well. Can't take Rice out of the middle. It would be a big gap. He is a machine. Again, 100% true, Porge. Zuma could be out to the end. Augie could possibly be back in a few weeks. Who knows? Massive Fitness is saying 5 at the back again going forward. Johnson left back. Left wing back, Creswell, Dawson, and a youngster in the middle, and Sufal right wing back. Dawson to play as both centre backs. There you go. Dawson will step into play. Dawson will just cover the back four. Craig Dawson, there you go. Ballon Dawson. You can go left back, 2 centre halves, right back, and while we're at it, he maybe finishes as well. You can go and get a goal and you can go up front. I heard a fast recovery. I'll be looking for any news on that as soon as possible. Hi, everyone. With regards to Achilles tendon injuries, you need to watch if he's not pulled his Achilles, if he's not ruptured his Achilles tendon, but there's a tweak on his Achilles tendon, they will not rush him. Absolutely not, because unless he has an operation, they don't know when at any point that snaps. The only reason I know that is because I have ruptured my Achilles tendon before, so I had to go through the whole rigmarole of discussing it, and they were explaining it to me. And then I had family members who had knocked their Achilles tendon out, and they were totally told to rest and only do specific exercises for up to 6 weeks before they could even get back into anything. So if there's an Achilles tendon issue, you're trying to put 2 and 2 together and think that he probably will miss the rest of the season. Work calls. See you all later. Thanks, Peter, for joining us. Dawson has enough to beat our entire back line. I'm with Gaza on Deck's position. Absolutely. Can't we get a loan signing in? We won't, because you know what Moyes is like. We'll not play Dawson now till we play Frankfurt. Can't see that happening though, Mandy. I really can't, because I don't know if not playing Dawson in the centre-back position, then that leaves us really vulnerable in the Chelsea game. And Moyes likes consistency and motivation and moving into these big games in Europa as well. So I really can't see it. Dex cannot be moved. Way too crucial to stay as he is. We have options. Like I said, we are lucky it's the position and no one else. Nobes and Kroll swap with Rice at centre back. We could get Obiang in and pretend he's okay. Gold did it. Did you see David Gold's tweet yesterday wishing Fabianski a happy birthday and had him in an Arsenal top? It's just simple things like that just really are frustrating, aren't they? Rice is a centre of our backbone. No way Moyes plays him in defence. Absolutely. I love this situation for one reason only. It will force Moyes' hand. He should trust on the 23s more. Rice is too valuable to move, and the youth are our way forward, not mass though, please. Well, if Alese doesn't get a chance against Chelsea, now seeing as we only have one centre back, then we know where Moyes is with the youngsters. Well, if he doesn't play any of these youngsters, I don't think he's looking at them going, they're not ready to make the step up. I don't think he thinks like that. I think he's thinking that there's a time and a place of when I bring them in. For me and you, as the normal fan, think, well, this surely is the time. But he does have history of playing players out of position or playing players in a position that he knows he can play. And we do have players like Johnson, and we do have players like Soufal, and we do have players like Creswell that can all cover several positions in there. But you may see, as what Happy Amarettis said, Alese may get some game time, may come on as a sub if he doesn't start with them, and then we'll start to see a gradual introduction of these players. You never know. Garino is saying we go three at the back with Soufal, Creswell, and Dawson, or we blood Alese and see how it goes. Tevez will be our striker as for Frankfurt, as there's a video of him at the London Stadium. Could you imagine? God help Dawson if he gets injured next. Absolutely. Shame we didn't go for that centre-back from Marseille in January. Oh, hang on. I know, Garino, I know, but 4 centre-halves normally is enough to get you through the season, isn't it? Although we did know Ogbonna wasn't fit at the time either. So, yeah. No, I get it. You're right. I get it. More than one source is saying he is out for the season. Play Areola at centre-half. He is massive. He is. Garino, it wasn't a position that we needed. 4 centre-backs should have been enough for any squad. Kaleta is terrible. I watched a couple of his games. He ball watches more than Diop. I see why Moyes dashed him. Well, there you go. They got a bit of an inside knowledge there. We signed 2 centre-backs in January. Oh, wait, hang on. No, we didn't, Martin. Shame we didn't get the general still there. I know. And I thought he was going to go back to South America, but he never. Did he not go to Russia? Did he not actually go? Is he not playing in Russia now? Balbuena. Ouch regarding Achilles tendon. I missed the general. After this season and now being our only centre-back available, Big Dawson deserves time of the year more than anyone. Moyes was centre-half. Perhaps he could get his boots on. He was. That tweet from David Goals was ridiculous. Moyes doesn't like to use the youngsters in a big game. That will really test them. 132 games from Fabs has played in the West Ham kit, and he couldn't use one of them. I know, absolutely crazy. Heard we're in position to get Calvin Phillips and Belotti. Would love them. Also would love Gallagher. We'll have to wait and see. But join us on the Hammers headlines later on at 5 o'clock today, where we'll be going through some of the other stories going through today. But as we know, and as we've been hearing, we're expecting the news to come out of the club that Diop will miss several weeks, if not the rest of the season. We are only a month away from the season finishing, and that is to add to the equation that Zuma and Ogbonna are also out. Ogbonna is on his way back, but we just don't know when. So we need to pray to whoever you pray to make sure that these players can get back fitter and give us a full-strength centre-half and defensive partnership on the lead into, you know, the lead out for the rest of the season, because what an end to the season we've got. It is all wide open. Doesn't matter if you think top 4 is open, closed, it's gone. It's not, because the season's not finished. And we're still in contention for top 6, top 7 as well. So keep your eyes on the channel. There we are. Where are we? I have a bad feeling it's going to be Masuaku. Not sure why I would do. Probably give Alese a shot, but I think Moyes will put Johnson in centre-back alongside Dawson. All this bad luck before the semi-final. Moyes was seen at Hull to scout Lewis Porter. Dan Moyes used to be centre-half, just saying. Happy Emirates says, thanks, Anton. Keep your chins up, everyone. We have more heart than any other team out there. We absolutely do, so keep the faith up. We're in the semi-finals of the Europa League. We're still challenging for the top 7 in the Premier League. What a season it's been, and let's finish it off as the way we started it. If we can find form like we had at the start of the season, you never know what could happen. Stay safe, everyone. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can click on the join option. If you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscription button now. There's a little bell notification that will notify you when our shows do go live. Stay safe, everyone, and see you at 5 o'clock. Come on, you irons.
stays the same. Once you let it change. It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,